Morning, everybody. This is Travis from Carter Cal Capital, helping you fight for your financial freedom throughout the Forex market. I hope everybody's doing very well on this Thursday morning. I'm actually going a little bit earlier than what I typically end up doing. I have some stuff that I have to be able to do before I leave out to be able to do what I need to do for the overall day. So I'm going to go rapid fire on what's happening with the overall market today. And if I don't catch anybody live or anything else like that, obviously you can be able to have the recording. I'm going to send it over to everybody when it comes down to the Discord and everything else like that. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from that education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. I understand that trading involves risk. It involves risk of being able to make money, also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you'll end up making money today. So with that being said, hopefully everybody's doing very well. Hopefully everybody ended up having a very good trading day yesterday as the market finally ended up pushing down based off of that news. We kind of expected that the market was going to end up making a large move to the downside. Well, kind of expected that the market was going to make a large move. I didn't know what direction it was going to end up being honest. We knew that we was in a sell zone, but uh, you never know when it comes down to interest rate decisions. But for the overall news, what ended up happening overall was that um, what ended up happening overall was the market end up um, I'm sorry. When it came down to the unemployment change, we actually ended up having a good unemployment change number. We actually ended up raising, what I'm saying, the United States actually ended up raising up the interest rate to 75 basis points, which basically ended up pushing it up to 4%, and that was something that they was expecting to be able to do. And then after that, we ended up having Jerome Powell basically start to speak from there based off of that news. Going into today, what we're going to end up seeing is the pound with the Bank of England minutes. They're going to end up having their rate hike in their vote when it comes down to the monetary policy statement as well. That's going to happen at 8 a.m. So being able to take a look at the pound pairs is going to be something that I am going to be interested in being able to take a look at to see how the market is going to end up reacting based off of that movement. What's going to end up being the plan, and when it comes down to that pair overall. Obviously, I talked about the pound, the eurozone, and the Japanese yen as currencies that I'm interested in being able to trade. So we will get through those and take a look at what's happening with those markets overall, because I am interested to be able to see what's going to happen with those markets in general. Okay, so we're going to go through the big three, talk about what's going on with all those pairs, and then after that, kind of move forward and try to see what's happening with those movements. And we'll start off from there. So here we go, big three. Um, Start off with the United States dollar index. If you're not familiar with what the big three is, the United States dollar index, gold, and oil. We end up taking a look at those because they have correlations to all of the pairs that we end up taking a look at overall. From a weekly perspective, the market is definitely still inside of consolidation. We had a big move, but it was still kind of locked up within this 13,550 area, and then after that, the 13,280 area overall when it comes down to the movement. We can see that obviously we're having a strong day when it comes down to the United States dollar overall. We got to see if the market's going to end up breaking out of this 13,550 area, or is it going to end up getting up here and then after that starting to be able to retrace again. And from a candlestick perspective, from a overall movement perspective, and if I'm interested in being able to get in, that answer right now is no. I'm not interested in being able to get into any U.S. based pairs right now at this particular point because we're in the middle of a large consolidation area, and I want to be sure that if I do take the trade, then I'm going to be sure that we're going to get overall movement from every pair compared to this one or two different pairs when it comes down to that movement overall. So United States dollar pairs, I'm going to end up staying away from, at least for right now. Oil, end up getting the oil as a trade. What was it last week? No, I'm sorry. On the first, I'm saying last week. Oh, well, we did get into it last week, but we'll see how the market basically ended up moving. We ended up catching it at 86, and then after that 86.80, when it came down to that entries, market broke out of consolidation, pushed up to the upside. Remember, it's the winter months, and the market has been so beaten up when it came down to that movement. I do expect that the market is going to continue to keep on moving up to the upside. It ended up hitting our first take profit in the first day, which was 88.50 last week. Now the market's at 80. The market is at 89.16, and the market's starting to gravitate toward that $90 area. And then once it breaks past that $90 area, I do expect that it's going to get up to 94.50 when it comes down to that movement. take a look at it based off of a 1 hour. We see that the market kind of fell down this morning. I said that I wasn't interested in being able to take a trade as of yet yesterday because I wanted to see that the market break the counter trend line break before being able to get in. Now it is holding a consolidation area. I mean, it's not consolidation area. It's holding a it's holding a trend line at this particular point. The question is it going to remain to hold that trend line? Because if it doesn't remain to hold that trend line, then the entry that I end up getting into, um, I may go ahead and just look at this being able to cancel it. Now, my stop loss is in a great position. I'm not worried about losing money off of this. I don't think that doom and gloom is going to end up happening and the market's just going to ultimately fall down. I think obviously we're looking at this from a long term perspective to see how long, see if this market's going to end up remaining to be bullish when it comes down to that push. And if we can be able to get that, then it'll end up being great and get rid of some of these trend lines. So the blue outer trend line that we just made was the outer type of movement. Here goes our inner trend line. Currently, right now, we're kind of pushing towards this innermost trend line at this particular moment. It tried to break it, and from there, it did not. It kind of held above at this point. So I am kind of paying attention to this to see if this market is going to remain to be bullish. If it does remain to be bullish, then after that, we may have an entry to be able to pay attention to from that standpoint. But overall, we're going to have to wait a little bit to be able to see how the market is going to end up moving. What's going on, Arizona? I hope everything's going well with you. Jeez, I had my camera off because I had my hair basically not wrapped or out. I guess I need to put myself onto the screen and actually look like something. Arizona, what's going on? Everything's going well. I just wanted to hurry up and get done with this one today. I got a couple things that I have to be able to do overall today. But hopefully everything's good for you. Hopefully you end up having a green day when it came down to trading. Um, let's see. But we're still kind of moving up to the upside. I'll pay attention to the 15 minutes, see if there's going to end up being a counter trend line break. If you can be able to catch that, remember I said that I'd be interested in being able to place a stop loss below these swing lows and below this overall consolidation at 87.15. If that is the case, then I think you got a pretty decent trade that you can be able to take. And the question is, are we finally going to get a little bit more of a push to the upside? The market has been pushing down over the course of these last couple of days when it comes down to movement. We used to hide the cam. Nah, I'm not worried about obviously. Um, I don't mind showing myself on the camera. It's never been a problem when it comes down to that. I just had a hair wrap on. I've been up since 4 o'clock taking a look at everything. Let's see. Okay, so if you do decide to be able to get in, let's say hypothetically you do decide to be able to get in, you're watching this at 6:30. I mean, you're watching this at 6, whatever time it is. There's a counter trend line break that is happening right now. As long as this candlestick holds above on that 15 minute, then you may have a solid entry to be able to get into. Stop loss I will place at 87.15. Take profit will still be 94.50 when it comes down to that movement. Um, and the market, once again, is kind of maintaining this overall area. I'm kind of seeing more of a channel than I am anything else. I don't know if people kind of notice that, but we are getting something like this when it comes down to movement. If that's going to end up being the case, then we should have a strong push to the upside because we're basically tapping the bottom of that overall area and seeing if the market's going to move from there. Uh, but yeah, I'm interested. We'll see. We'll see what happens. This for me, this is more of an add-on trade. If I do end up taking it, well, I'm taking it. I know I'm going to take it because I'm in a good position overall when it comes down to the first position. Um, I don't think it's gonna kill me if I end up messing up on this trade overall. Let's see. Okay, gold. Gold is pretty much gold right now. Um, well, gold is not gold. What happened? Okay, market fell. Market fell down to support 16.15. end up having a strong movement to the downside. I guess news, what happened with the news, it went up to 1671, then after that crashed all the way down. United States dollar is basically done controlled this overall market for a while. Remember, we talked about two separate items. If it was going to fall below 1618, then we felt like it was going to go to 1553. Now, um, now I can be able to take this a little bit more seriously. Um, this is what I hope, and this is what I'm kind of looking for. The market has already done fell down to support, and it's fell down kind of rapidly from yesterday. I would like, personally, for the market to be able to push up and bounce one more time before I get in. I would like for it to bounce, get up to about 1620, 1630, and then after that break, because now we have a full wave that we can be able to get into and feel comfortable with that overall movement. I wouldn't feel comfortable. I wouldn't feel comfortable being able to jump in right now and trying to expect that the market is going to end up giving us a great movement uh, for its overall push to the downside. I just don't think that's going to happen. It's done. It's done pushed down enough when it comes down to this one. Gold triple bottom. Yeah, I see that. 1, 2, and 3. Um, I'm not gonna chase it. I'm not gonna jump in right now. 1618 is the number that I would like to be able to jump in, but I want to be able to see the market bounce up one more time. I'd rather see the market bounce up one more time during the 8 o'clock hour and everything else like that. Then I can load in the trade and then be able to place it in. Now, if I'm gonna do that, stop loss. Stop loss is going to end up being above the swing high 1641. We go after 1553 when it comes down to that movement to the downside. Now, I may end up making it a little bit lower because I don't like that risk to reward doesn't look necessarily the greatest, but it ended up being something of the extent of that here to here. That would be my risk reward if I'm going to end up making a move like this on this one. But once again, I want to see this thing pop up first. I think that in order for this to be a valuable move and to be able to feel comfortable with no drawdown and everything else like that, it has to pop up. It fell down so much in a day's span that I would like for it to pop up first before being able to jump in. So I'm not going to pull the trigger on the trade, not yet. If it does go and I miss it, then I miss it. Um, we got plenty of room to be able to catch it, but I would like to be able to see a pop up. Yeah, I'll definitely wait. I'll wait for a move to be able to get pop up. Wait for DXY to be confirmed. Yeah, it makes sense. Um, okay, so let's get off of those. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna look at pound United States dollar. I'm gonna take a look at U.S. yen, and from there I'm gonna look at let's see, pound United States dollar, U.S. yen, um, and what else? Okay, what is happening? What is happening? There's something. There's something happening. Sell off deep into Bank of England after Fed warning investors higher peak funds next year. Stocks bond falls against the dollar in most currencies. Okay, obviously because they're the first people to end up saying something. U.S. futures fell as Jerome Powell reserves blah 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 blah. Sell off 75 base off fourth time in a row, high flow since 2008. Traders mainly following impact traders retirement. Doge hope. Okay. I think we might see this thing fall. I don't know if we'll see this thing fall to the floor, but we got to be able to keep on looking at this with a bearish undertone. Yeah, we got to keep on looking at this with a bearish undertone. So this is what I see, and I actually like what I see. Weekly is in the sell zone, got all the way up to the 5-0, so we got a pretty decent move to the downside. The United States dollar ended up coming out with news saying that they're going to end up raising interest rates. There goes the counter trend line break from a weekly perspective. You can see it from a daily perspective right there as well. Um, what that means is we probably done missed the first initial bit of this move, but that is considered to be a breakout. Now, remember, typically when there's a breakout, there will end up being a retest on a 2 hour. Typically, on the 2 hour, you end up seeing that it happened at 114. Since then, it's done fell down almost 200 points to the downside since that news came out. Now, the question is going into 8 o'clock. Are we going to end up getting a pop up when it comes down to this movement because of the monetary policy statement from the pound? Or are we going to see this thing keep on flushing down to the ground? Um, it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough to say, hey, I want to jump in right now. I don't want to jump in right now. It's one of those things where if you miss the move, you miss the move. But um, hypothetically, if this market was to be able to give us a little bit more of a push up based off of a 2 hour or anything else like that, then after that, I'd be interested in being able to make a move to the downside. I would like to be able to catch that more than anything else. Um, not jumping in right now. I'm not wasting money just because I missed on a move. Uh, if that makes sense. I tell that to everybody. We're not trying to catch falling knives. We're trying to get ourselves into the best position for being able to move it. Obviously, we would love to be able to catch it when the market has consolidation. Then after that, have a breakout, and that's exactly what happened. And so I did a terrible job when it came down to being able to spot that out because there goes the consolidation movement right there. We could have caught that earlier, but um, that's my fault. But either way, I'll wait for a continuation type of movement. I'm not interested in being able to jump in right now. Nothing to do on this one yet. News is going to come out, and hopefully the news will end up giving us a little bit more of a better chance of being able to go from here. Now, U.S. yen got into this trade, got out of it, got a large amount of pips off of this one. Oh, screw. If you end up taking this one with me, the last 2 weeks that we've been doing it, been very profitable off of this one. But what's happening overall? Um, Bank of Japan ended up having an interest rate decision that kept it at 0.1. I seen that last week. Market ended up pushing up, went all the way up to the went all the way up to 150 before there was 151 before there was some intervention that ended up happening. I remember taking that trade all the way up to 151.73, and then after that falling. Then from there, from a daily perspective, we see that the market had a breakout. We have a little bit of retest. It held off of this innermost trend line. So the sell trades that we end up getting into, we're out when it comes down to that position. Let me go ahead and delete that right now. Currently, right now, what we're looking at is this market going to remain to be bullish? And if it's going to remain to be bullish, then 153 is the position where it's going to end up closing out at. So something that we do have to pay attention to. I don't know if my automation system is in charge of being able to read this one. The FX Skywalker, the automation system that everybody gets once you are a elite member inside of the group. Um, it's in charge of being able to look at this one. So we'll see what happens a little bit later on today. Hopefully it does give us a little bit. Hopefully it does give us some movement that we can be able to get off of. That we can be able to get into and kind of be able to manage based off of that. Um, Interested to be able to see though. I am. Um, Currently right now, if you're looking at this from a bullish perspective, and you're looking at this just to be able to scout, the question would be, where is it going? Um, the extension will be at 148.73. Currently right now, the market is at 148.37. Because the market is at 148.37, also in our area. When I look at everything, when I look at gold and I look at US yen, I kind of look at them in the same type of light. Um, Obviously, we see the United States dollar dominating gold, so it's gonna dominate the US yen. It's gonna dominate the Japanese yen. Um, but we had so much of a fall down when it came down to when it came down to that interest rate statement, because that's nothing more than an interest rate statement that ended up happening right there. Yep. Uh, Fell down. I fell down 150 points, and then after that, will romp right back up. Um, so it went all the way down to the 8.6, and because it went all the way down to the 8.6, and the D extension is going to end up being at 148.73, we're running out of positions when it comes down to that. There's nothing to be able to do off of that one, unfortunately. Um, yeah, nothing to be able to do off of that one. I would like to say that I wanted to be able to get in, but there's nothing to do. Yeah, nothing to do on this one. Um, let's see. I got time for two more pairs. Let's go Nas 100 and US. Well, let's go US 30, and then after that we'll go Nas 100, and we'll close out today. Everybody, give me a second. I'm sorry. I want to see something real quick. Uh, everybody, I'm sorry. Just give me one quick second. I want to see. I'm working on. I'm working on one of my. Well, I'm working on my expert advisor. I'm trying to see um, this new setting that I have on here, which is basically looking at news. Um, there's a news filter that's going to come out on the pound a little bit later on today. I want to see if it works. So I have to be able to set it up for the pound, even though I'm probably not going to trade it. I want to make sure that it's not going to trade within this overall area and give me a counsel type of situation. So I want to be able to test that out real quick. Okay, so US 30, we talked about. I talked about setting a game plan with a stop or a take profit. I mean, what an entry was going to end up being at 32,500, and the take profit from there was going to end up being basically 32.50. If you end up getting into that trade, congratulations when it came down to being able to make a move. I personally just have not been able to have a chance. I should have took that entry off of that one, or I should have at least be able to place that entry off of that one a long time ago, and I just didn't. Uh, Mainly because I've been working on so many other projects. So I kind of overlooked this one when it came down to being able to place in this entry. My automation system helped me out for us being able to do it. I mean, for us being able to place it in. But me personally, I did not manually trade this one. So what happened was that the market, if we're looking at it, obviously it would have been above the swing high. Market fell all the way down to that point right there, which would have been a 1 to 2.9 risk reward ratio, which is great. Now, okay, so we missed that move. So what is the next move off of this? We know that we end up having this large hole or large window that we were paying attention to when it came down to that movement, which created this free run area all the way up to here before it started to consolidate. Same deal right here when the market went into consolidation. We had a free run area right here, and then after that, another free run area right there. I'm sorry, that was a consolidation. Uh, let's see. It's a free run area. Oh, nope, 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 nope. Actually, no, that was just a continuation. Okay, so we basically fell back down to the same spot that we're at. I think that overall, if this market breaks below 31,980, then we're going to see another major fall, and it could go all the way down to 31,550. Now, that's the same movement of just being able to push up compared to being able to push right back down. 9 o'clock will end up being, or will kind of end up letting us know how this market's going to end up reacting off of it. From a 15-minute perspective, we're probably close to the buy zone, trying to see how the market's going to end up reacting. But there is a counter trend line break that has happened off of this move. So question is, should we look at being able to get in, or should we look at being able to wait? Currently, right now, I'm going to say wait just for a second, see if the market's going to give us a counter trend line break to be able to get in. If it does, then after that, we have an opportunity to be able to make a move off of that. But we're running into a small volume area. Obviously, make sure that you have your orders in before 31,950. Okay, everyone, please make sure that you have your orders in before 31,950, because if it falls off of that, then it's going to fall off a cliff. Um, and then after that, take profit will end up being at 31,580. If that does happen. So I don't know if I want to place in a pending order right now, if I just want to wait for a second, but I do know that's the move that I would be paying attention to a little bit more. Stop loss be, you can place it either above the swing or above that swing. Doesn't really necessarily matter, but take profit will end up being there. Force that overall movement. Kind of like what I said before, I hope and I would like to see that the market ends up giving a little bit of a retracement first. The way that the market's been free falling, I don't think that's going to happen. Well, it may happen. Let me stop and not give it so much doom and gloom. Um, it could happen, but if you take the entry right now, then legitimately you'll have to place your stop loss above the swing high. If you're placing your stop loss above this high, then the risk reward factor is a 1-to-1, and it doesn't make sense to be able to do it that way. I would rather see it kind of pop up a little bit before being able to make that move, and kind of being able to go from there. Uh, okay. Last pair, and we get out of here. Nas 100. Nas 100 just broke and hit its counter trend line break. It's outside of that large consolidation area. We're basically in a free run area. The first area where it's going to end up hitting from consolidation will probably end up being right here, which would be at 10,750. And then after that, I think it will kind of push back down to that 10,440 area, where the market kind of moved the last time. So that would be the two areas of being able to get in and be able to get out. We're back inside of that channel, which means that we're going to end up seeing a lot more free fall movement to the downside. Nas 100, I'm actually make sure my automation system's on. Let's see. Yeah, my automation system's on. Automation system's on. They won't trigger. None of my systems will not trigger off of this one because it's already going to hit R3 for the day. Um, I don't know. This might have to be a manual one. Um, what's the risk on this one? I'll take that. All right, so now it's 100. I'm gonna take an entry in short now. Stop loss is going to end up being above 10,009, above the swing high. I'm going to say 10,970. Right now it's 150 point risk. Take profit off of this one. I'm going to have two different orders, but the first take profit is going to end up being long term 10,450. Okay, that one's locked in. The short term take profit will end up being this support level at 10,750. So I'm going to say 10,760 as the short term position. Risk, I'm only going to do 1% of the account. Doesn't make any sense to be able to do two or anything else like that. Just don't know what's going to end up happening again. This market could pop up at any point in time. So there goes my entries when it comes down to that. I am in on that pair currently right now. Um, It could be a little bit more of an up push, but I catch the up push. That's the reason why I end up getting in at a 1% trade. That gold has a U-turn. That doesn't surprise me. Remember, we said gold. I will wait for the market to be able to pop up first before being able to jump in. I want that to be able to happen first. So I would like to be able to jump in gold a little bit later on today than anything else. All right, don't stop right here. You like what I end up doing? Please make sure that you end up clicking on that boost button. Obviously, it helps grow what we're doing when it comes down to the community. I'm sorry that I end up having to do this a little bit early, but I wanted to make sure that we end up having enough time to be able to get out all the information. Plus, we're still in at 30 minutes. But like always, make sure that you end up planning your trade your plan. We'll see each and every one of y'all in the next video a little bit later on tonight as we close out for the week. Take it easy.